rundown. Today is just me and Boomtown. Cam is still out on vacation. We told y'all that boy is rich. He got all the money in the world. He's traveling throughout the world. I think I don't know, maybe he's, you know what I'm saying? He went to Iceland and they let him set camp up in Antarctica. I guess he has
Yeah.
a portable freeze or heater that kept him warm. So, bro, Cameron is just really like that. So, shouts out to him. He'll be back soon. But Isaiah, Boomtown, how you doing this week?
I'm doing good. Doing good. It was extremely hot. Uh except for pretty much yesterday we got a breeze, which was
Nine to
unheard
four.
of. Not yeah, but in at least in the morning it was like 70. I went and
Yeah.
ate breakfast with some friends yesterday morning and I was like, "Ooh, I can put these windows down." I was like I was holding my arm out the window and it actually felt pretty good yesterday. So we're just getting a little taste of fall because we got another month and a half before that shit shows up. But I will
It might be
enjoy
more.
every minute. Yeah,
It
I
may
will
be.
enjoy every single second of it.
Well, while we're enjoying it, let's jump into these topics, brother. Today, the first thing we're talking about, we're going to ease into the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because we are going to talk about NFL. We're going to talk NBA. We'll talk even UFC. But the first thing that we're talking about is MySpace making a comeback?
Absolutely not. I don't even know why we're.
Bro, have you
I
not seen it?
I
Is this
heard
is
that
it
the owners of it were talking about like, hey, we've just been dormant. We're waiting for the right time. The time has passed you by, and I mean this with all due respect. Okay, and the reason I say that is because what it meant in that time when MySpace was around was generational. We have progressed. We've got more social medias coming out, pretty much one a year at this point. And MySpace was very computer friendly as an app, which is pretty much how you're accessing social media now. I don't know how they would change the structure to make it seem more enticing to re-download it and re-log into your MySpace account that some people haven't used in 15 years.
man,
So
it might be longer than that.
I know I mean good for them. They're trying, but I mean in that era, not every kid had a smartphone, but a lot of kids had internet, or kids would go over to friends' houses and use their internet to log on to their MySpace and hang out and add songs. Pretty much, we already got that more or less in Instagram. You got TikTok, Facebook is still there, Twitter's there, but 15 years ago, what else did we have? We had Facebook. I think Instagram had just came out.
In 15 years ago in 2011, we
Yeah.
had Facebook. MySpace was dying, or it was starting to die at that point.
Mhm.
We had, I think, IG and maybe Snapchat has started, but we had like
Yeah.
Voxer, where it was just a walkie-talkie. Like people, it was
Yeah.
very experimental back then.
Mhm.
But honestly, bro, I think MySpace coming back would be fun. I think it would be cool. The only thing that is going to change is remember, you didn't have the same version on your phone as you did on your desktop or your
Yeah.
laptop, so you'll
We
be able
would
to have that
illegally
now.
yeah,
Yeah,
we would illegally download wallpapers.
yeah, and I think it'll even help like artists who draw or create and do things like that. I know AI is going to
Mhm.
take care of a ton of it, but people will take ideas and throw it on their MySpace, and if that helps give creators a little change, then cool. But I don't think it's going to last, right? I think it'll be
Yeah.
people will be tired of editing, and if they can make it easy utilizing AI to change some of the more complex things directly on your phone, I think it'll be fine, right? I think
Yeah.
it'll be cool. I just don't know if they can do that. And if they can, boy, I don't think MySpace is going to take or trump some of the more hotter social media apps right now. I don't think there's
Mhm.
any hotter social media app, I'm telling you, than TikTok. I don't think MySpace could catch TikTok. I don't
No.
think MySpace could catch Facebook or Instagram. I
If they didn't get rid of Vine.
Well, that's all. I mean,
Yeah,
TikTok
you
is
know what I
Vine.
mean? Yeah.
TikTok is literally just Vine that pays the creators. The reason
Mhm.
Vine died was because all of those people couldn't make money. So they just stopped uploading on it and they started uploading on YouTube. And then YouTube
Mhm.
started paying people. And then TikTok was like, why don't we make Vines like TikTok or YouTube is doing and then just help the creators get paid? and then boom,
Yep.
they invested a bunch of money into it. People are easy making money off of
And
it like crazy. So
they created the monsters that are the Paul brothers. So thank you.
yeah, it just goes to show you, because of social media, anything can make you rich, and that's why we want y'all to tune in into the Red
That's
River
right.
Rundown, baby.
Shameless plug.
Shameless
Shameless
plug, bro.
plug
Shameless
right
plug.
there.
Shameless plug. All right. Well,
Nah.
let's keep it pushing, bro. Let's keep it pushing. It was cool just talking, and because I've seen it all over my like thread and all that, and I was just like,
Yeah.
bro, MySpace might come back. So I was curious, but
I will not be participating respectfully.
I will bring
I
my page
remember.
back just so that I could look at old pictures and have that nostalgia rush. But I'm
Mhm.
telling you, after that, maybe 3 weeks in, that shit is getting buried in a folder on my phone that I'll never see again. It'll live on my phone, but I am not logging in. I'm not checking nothing. If you send me messages on MySpace, it's gonna sit there for 70 years. I'm not touching it, bro. I'm not touching it. But brother, we know that training camp is back in and people are
Mhm.
going crazy with their predictions. I'm even going crazy with my predictions, right? Like I've seen videos of Drew Aller and I've talked myself into him being the greatest quarterback of all time, at least being the next Big Ben. I've seen his
Mhm.
footwork improve. Bro, when you just watch him throw at Steelers camp, the ball screams out of his hand. So I'm already like, oh my God. Now, when they put the pads on, homies might throw the ball to the linebacker every single play, right? But
Mhm.
as of right now, he looks cool. I'm hopeful. Are we overreacting to training camp, or is training camp really where champions are born?
Um, I don't think it's necessarily an overreaction because you see tools, right? Yeah, they're going at about half to three-quarter speed, but it's getting the looks that are going to make those champions, right? You have to get looks, you have to read the coverages, you have to anticipate throws, you have to, you know, get a jump on a snap count. All those things, that's why we play the game because it everybody in the NFL is they're some of the most talented athletes in the world, regardless. So it's just a matter of how smart are you on the back end with reading these plays and executing to stop that guy from beating you on this play. Because that's essentially what every coach is going to say. Hey, when we get this look here, anticipate this, read this, and it's not necessarily the Jimmys and Joes sometimes. Sometimes it is the X's and O's because it's a chess match. People think that football is a very animalistic game, but at the same time, there's so much strategy that goes into any sport that you play. So it's like it's exactly where champions are born. As far as overreacting, I think you have to talk about it because if you don't talk about it, then why are we fans? Why do half these writers have a job unless they overreact to certain things, right? I can't wait for Colin Cowherd to say some absolutely egregious shit in the next couple of days and be completely wrong about everything that he said because he's done it before. But that's why he has a job because some people cling on to that. It creates a whole narrative about a guy. It's a story. It adds to the drama of every single training camp, which leads into the season, which is why eventually people get fired or people
Absolutely.
get cut. So no, I love
Absolutely.
every second of it because it means that football season is back. I'm repping my team. Y'all see it. I know we might win about 5 games, but it's okay. I'm ready to take those lumps because you got to lose some to win some. Okay, we'll
And
be all right.
you live to fight another
Fight
day.
another day.
Yeah,
Okay.
facts. I feel that. I respect that. I respect that. I wish there were more fans like you, Isaiah. I wish there were more fans that would go through those lump periods with their teams instead of just clinging on to the Chiefs or clinging on to
Mhm.
the next hot commodity in the NFL or any pro sport. I wish I wish people would just stay a fan. Like as you can see behind me, you know who I'm revving, and that's why I'm gonna overreact to my team every year because I'm just optimistic, bro. I want my team to be good. I've known the last 3 years that they're probably gonna be booty butt cheeks in compared to Steelers. You know what I'm saying? Like as
Mhm.
other franchises, the Steelers are never that. Like I think the Steelers are the only team to not finish last in their division since like the 2000s, and the Steelers
Mhm.
haven't finished last in their division since 1988. But for the Steelers, it's like, bro, this is bad. Like we're not.
Mhm.
You can't just keep getting crushed in the playoffs. But I've seen some narratives. I've seen like Ty Simpson is butt after a couple of snaps. I've seen but again, we see stuff like this every year,
Yeah.
and then
I
it's just
mean,
people are just I
any
don't know,
yeah, anytime I see like a report come out about a quarterback and how he performed in practice in August or July, relax. I mean, bro, I mean, I can't stand that. And some of it, sometimes I cling on to it, and I'm like, what do you mean? Deshaun Watson went 15 to 17 for 5 touchdowns because I've also seen reports come out of like how Shadur played in practice, and then somebody even broke down the amount of yards that he threw for. I'm like, bro, this is a 2 minute drill or this is red zone. Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we breaking this shit down? It's situational because you want to work out those kinks before the season starts so you can figure out your guy. It has nothing to do with like, because also you got to think you're playing against your defense. Your defense might not be as good as other defenses, and your defense might be a lot better than other defenses than these guys are gonna face. So it's like it's working out the kinks on both sides of the ball. So stop overreacting.
bro.
It's it's
It
that time of year where that happens, but
it's this is how I always think about it, and this is a very minor scale, so I need people to chill out. Back in the day, whenever we started getting going playing football, back in the day, whenever I was just a youngster, you know what I'm saying, long, long time ago, my grade, third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade, we were not very successful. We weren't the Browns, but we were not the Chiefs, we weren't them. We were very Titans esque. You know what I mean? We could catch you slipping. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
We ran the wishbone. But we
we
would
can snake one.
practice. Yeah, we would practice and look like superstars, and we would scrimmage. We scrimmaged the ahead of us and the class below us. The class below us was obviously our homeboy on the podcast, Cam. Brother, I used to run for like 596 yards,
Putting up recess numbers,
bro,
baby.
putting up recess numbers. And then we would get to the games and we would just get beat by 40. So, like you said, it's overreacting. Stop doing it, but don't stop doing it. I enjoy the overreaction, but I also
Mhm.
know that I'm overreacting. A lot of people don't know that. And then you see it come out in the season, and it's just like, chill out, bro. Like, you had to
Yeah,
know, you know what I mean? Like, who maybe Chiefs fans, if they crashed out this year, cool, I'll give it to you. They've been counting y'all out for the last 2, 3 years, anyways, and y'all
yeah,
just kept. So if y'all crashed out, I get it. After that, like, why was any other team going crazy? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Maybe the
Because
Bengals too, because Joe Burrow's always hurt.
yeah,
But
and Jamar Chase is fighting people in practice. I don't know if
hey,
you've seen that. That
are you a fan of fights and stuff in training camp?
I think it brings together the team. I
I
think
I
you I
think
think you need some beef.
I think it's just competition, and that's what you
Mhm,
want, bro. I think maybe it's just us because we grew up in that kind of and that's what raised us was like football and stuff,
mhm.
football, older basketball and stuff. But remember, we used to want to be bet like when we would play against each other or against Cam or any of our other friends, like we wanted to crush each other. We wasn't
Mhm.
trying to go easy and ha 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 ha.
Great
I
shot, bro.
Yeah,
Hell no.
like we were on each we've gotten into arguments over sports, and then after
Mhm.
the sport ends or after
We're
we're
fine.
done, then we go eat and chill and stuff. But people only focus on just that fight. And I'm like,
Mhm.
no, if it only becomes an issue if that fight lingers. If it's like the Draymond situation where Draymond punched out Jordan Poole and then didn't say anything to him afterwards,
It's a little
yes, it's an
different.
issue. But like the
Yeah,
Jamar Chase thing, bro, people fight in training camp every year. I love it.
yeah.
I love it.
It's like a
But Jamar
it's like
Chase
a
be spitting on
brother.
people too.
Yeah, it's like a brotherhood type of thing. Like,
Hmm.
you work out those differences because you gotta think, man, some people even though they're professional athletes, everybody's personality is different. So I'm not expecting Kirk Cousins to be in the middle of a scrum, respectfully, but somebody that has grown up around, a different type of group of people where competition is literally how you put food on the table day in and day out. I don't mind a little shit talk. I don't mind a little, razzing back and forth and getting into somebody's face because man to man, that's how people get their shit tested. That's how scraps start is like, oh, you think you're better than me. I'm gonna show you that you're not. And then and then the testosterone levels start to rise, and then you get a little scrap. But you got to think he got into it with DJ Turner, who's been on that team this almost the same amount of time or longer than Jamar Chase. So like they know each other. They've been around each other for years, so it was just a heat of the moment type of thing. Now, when Martellus Bennett snatched up Kyle Fuller, that was a little different.
That's
That
crazy.
was
Hey, speaking of the Bengals too, did you see that Shamar Stewart knee?
yeah,
Bro,
that knee,
I thought it was over with. I thought they lost
yeah,
him for the season, and crazy enough,
his
it's just a hyperextension, so he'll be back.
yeah,
He'll be
it
back.
looked
But
nasty. And also, I got the Niners signing Debo back
uh-oh.
is 100% due to the fact that poor Ricky Pearsall is, I think, I'm not trying to make no hot takes or nothing. I think we've reached the point with Ricky Pearsall where we have to go, hey man, I don't think it's beneficial for you to continue to play football. One, when he is on the field, he's shown flashes. He is a talented guy. You get shot, you come back, and you're dealing with so many injuries year in and year out, man. It's like I think your body cannot handle the strain. Sometimes it's a mental thing. Sometimes it's like you're worried about cutting and it leads to more injuries. I you tear your ACL in practice, especially with where that practice field is at. There's a
Yeah,
history
facts.
of
And your
people's
body's
bones
your
breaking
body
down.
starts to compensate. Your body just
Hmm.
naturally starts to compensate, and it's hard to get it to not to. So once
Yeah,
you tear your ACL, the reason people say you never fully develop or never fully return is because naturally your body is going to put more weight on the other one
yep,
because you have to try to catch back up, and you're
yep,
not going to catch back up because as your right leg gets stronger, your left leg is going to get stronger also. So it's going to be hard
hmm,
to catch them back up. And so you're not. And then if you tear the other one, then maybe it's easier to, I don't know. I don't know how that works. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to try to Joe Rogan this and just be like, Jamie,
yeah.
hey,
Jamie,
Jamie,
pull that up.
yeah, yeah.
Jamie.
I don't know. Cool. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah.
know. But I would imagine that doesn't like maybe it's easier. But I do know once you tear one or you have a major knee injury or you have a major shoulder injury, your body naturally is just like, hey, that hurts. Now we're shifting over this way because now
Hmm.
everything is over here. We're putting all of our resources over here until this is repaired. And the body will naturally try to repair it. Obviously, it's not going to, but
Hmm.
it'll stop the bleeding and things like that. So yeah, yeah. But
Yeah. I
hey,
mean, I'm hoping that he is
just get out
able
of San
to,
Fran, right?
yeah,
Is
honestly, get away from that practice field.
yeah. So would you say they have the conversation of maybe you don't need to play anymore, or they have the conversation of like maybe let's see if we can get something for him? Maybe somebody does see and they're like, hey, our training staff is better than San Fran's. San Fran's been dealing with injury issues in that quote unquote field. Maybe it's not the
Mhm.
field. Maybe it's the training staff. Maybe like Shanahan
Yeah.
doesn't have a good training staff. We don't know that about him, I guess. So,
Yeah.
and if he doesn't, maybe that's where all these injuries are coming from. And maybe somebody looks at their training staff and says, hey, can you tell me what's going on with Ricky Pearsall's body? A,
Yeah.
can you fix it? Yes, I can. And then boom,
I
stem
will
cells.
say there is a definite problem somewhere within that team because skill position players, I give them 7 games. Last year was probably the worst year. I mean, Juwan Jennings was. the one that played the most games out of that receiving core. We know the history of Christian McCaffrey. This is the first year that George Kittle really had a really bad injury, and he was not able to come back. I think it was his Achilles. Um, all that being said, you, you get Debo back, you let Jawan walk. Brandon Ayuk is like, I don't know, he's like out of shape somewhere. I don't even know what he's
Nah,
doing.
bro, stop it. He's not playing. There, if Brandon Ayuk, well, okay. The only way Brandon Ayuk gets on the field for the San Francisco 49ers is if this was all just a troll. If this was the Niners all being cool, them really having conversations, and him on social media is just him playing with the fans and just
Mhm.
trolling the fans so that they can stop taking everything so serious. If everything that he's been posting though is real, there's no way he's suiting up with the Niners.
I don't
He's
think he's suiting up with any team.
I don't either because of how he acted. He talked himself into the USFL or the UFL.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
went
that's
he went a mild
scorched earth.
AB. Yeah, he
Yeah.
went like mild AB
And
with
and
it.
you're not as talented as AB. People
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like we've seen receivers have attitudes and we've seen everyone have attitude, but if that talent is right, like I've heard people say Messi or Ronaldo or other basketball players or like their egos and stuff is big. Yeah, you know why? Because they're fantastic. If you're not
Yes.
fantastic at that craft, you can't have that attitude. If Gordon Ramsay was just a regular dude,
He'd be getting his ass whooped.
ain't nobody finna let you talk to him like that, bro. The only reason you could talk to him like that is because you're one of the best chefs in the world.
Get out!
Yeah. Sure you can.
What are you?
Yeah.
An idiot sandwich?
Yeah. Ain't nobody finna listen to that shit if they weren't getting on TV because of you. If you
Yep.
just said that to somebody, bro,
Yeah. Oh my
that's
god.
what
Can
that
you
is.
imagine if he had food at a restaurant and
Could
he didn't like it with that attitude?
could you imagine if he was the head chef of IHOP and he's screaming, right? You know what? I'm not even finna give you know what I'm saying. Any IHOP in the world, especially if it was a Waffle House. Waffle House,
Oh, Waffle
if you the
House,
head
they
chef,
bro.
everybody watching it too is crazy thing. Shouts out
A
to Waffle
Waffle
House.
House in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
might not make it out of there.
Gordon Ramsay going to a Waffle House in Atlanta on a Saturday night about 1:32, 2:30,
Scary hours.
and
Yeah.
yeah, oh boy, and he
After the
going,
let out.
what is this? You call it this? This is bloody.
This is
Fuh,
not a
fuh, fuh,
Scrabble. Oh my god.
fuh, 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 fuh.
Hey, man.
They be going crazy on a guy. Disrespect. But any before we pivot directly from like training camp, is there anything that stood out to you in training camp? Is there anything else that you've seen? Like I've been doing a lot of hating of the Cincinnati Bengals, but I do want to say that Joe Burrow is probably my favorite quarterback in the NFL. I enjoy
Yes.
watching him when he was on quarterback. I enjoyed watching him on the latest quarterback whenever you could see him talking to Joe Flacco, and you just
Mhm.
hear how much of a psycho he is, how much in depth that he is, like so much stuff that to people that aren't fans of him, like that are just big fans of like basketball but not football, they wouldn't understand it. They think playing quarterback is so easy, but he gives you those little nuances, those like
Mhm.
little like you open here and or you know what I'm saying when he's throwing and it's just like I love listening to you talk because you're
Mhm.
explaining it in the detail needed that
Yep.
yeah, it tells me that you love the sports. And here's a hot take. I was talking to my wife about this. Whenever I look at Joe Burrow, I think that Joe Burrow loves the game of football, right? I think because he's great, it's helped him become a star. I think Patrick Mahomes loves being a star.
Ooh. Ooh. Hey, clip it. Clip it.
Hey, and like I said, no
Clip it.
disrespect. I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think there's not like I think he's chasing greatness. I think he's chasing the superstardom. But I
Mm.
don't know if Pat loves football the same way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he doesn't love it. I'm saying maybe he doesn't obsess over it the same way that Joe does. Because he's so naturally talented, maybe he didn't
Mhm.
have to go through some of the same things. Or maybe when he was a kid, because he did play so many other sports, maybe he focused primarily on, like, you know what I'm saying? He knew a lot about a lot, but he didn't
Mhm.
know in detailed information the same way Joe
Yeah.
did. Whereas I think you could have a conversation with Joe about the 70s and 80s of in the NFL, maybe the
Mhm.
90s. I think Pat Mahomes, like the 90s, that's about as far back as you're going.
Well, and his arm talent was able to I'm on the same clip as you to a certain degree. I think the fact that your dad played professional baseball for as long as he did and was a pitcher at that, I think starting early, developing your arm early, understanding angles early, and playing baseball in high school. He was drafted, I think, by the White Sox. Um, so,
Hey, Jamie, look that up.
Jamie, can we look that up? That and playing other sports, like you said, I think Joe Burrow played basketball.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow was obviously talented enough. He went to Ohio State before he transferred to LSU. But I think the talent of Mahomes, it looks like it's superseding Joe Burrow just purely off of success. Patrick Mahomes was not a number one overall draft pick. Joe Burrow was. And I think in that time, the year that Mahomes got drafted, the guys that were drafted in front of him look a little differently now. Like obviously it is Mahomes, the Chiefs traded up to get him. Zach Taylor's not as good a coach as Andy Reid.
Facts.
Eric Bieniemy is regarded as one of the best OCs whenever he's in the NFL. So
Are you implying
what
that if you put Joe Burrow in Kansas City and give him the
we
same
got to
treatment
lead
that
with that. Yeah,
yeah,
we
if you
have to
lead
lead
with
with
that,
that.
brother, I think Joe Burrow may be the greatest quarterback of all time. If
Especially
we're giving Joe Burrow the like not the full Patrick Mahomes path, but if we give
Mhm.
him the Kansas City offense, we give them Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid with a nice vet quarterback to learn from for the first year, and he doesn't have to get rushed in and get hurt. He's going to have a better offensive line. Maybe his wide receiver room isn't as top end heavy, but again, Joe
Yeah.
Burrow is so obsessed with football. I think he would make it work.
You mean to
And
tell me that Joe Burrow, his rookie year, would still have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey?
exactly. That's what I
You,
and a nice run game to be able to lean on. Like I said, I not taking anything away from Patrick Mahomes because I do think
yeah,
that Patrick Mahomes can go down as the greatest. But to me, I think great
absolutely.
and talent are it's I'm not trying to be like I don't like Patrick Mahomes. I'm more or
Yeah.
less saying that I like Joe Burrow more because Joe Burrow is
Mhm.
he and I relate to football in similar manners than how
Yeah.
Mahomes does. Mahomes, I
More
think,
of a student and a historian of the game and
yes,
understanding the differences between eras, quarterbacks in that eras, play in that eras,
it's it's being able to have
developing
it's
those.
being able to have the conversation with somebody and talk to them about how it relates. If so, especially in today's, like just today, people are so quick to just say like, "Oh, let's look at the numbers," and that's it. Not
Mhm,
the yes, maybe you're scoring more now today, but that's just because of the natural progression. If you look
mhm,
at it, how it relates to the eras, then you know what I'm saying? Like when you
mhm.
oh well he was scoring 40 and it's like okay, but 40 today is 20 back then because of how
Yeah,
much of a different era it was, how it was officiated and things like that. So you have to do that just like you would do with money. Like
yeah.
like $100 today is not $100 back in the 90s. You know what I'm saying?
Shit,
So
it wasn't
everything,
$100 when we would get paid at Kinnaman's. That
brother,
$100 we was at Kinnaman's, I was like, "That's groceries for the week, my guy."
right. So you have to look at sports the same way. People don't do that shit though. But
Yeah.
speaking of looking at sports, Isaiah, I wanted to sneak this in. We got Prize Picks season locks, brother. I
You
ain't
got
trying
some
to do
numbers?
none. I ain't trying to. Yeah. I ain't trying to put together nothing right now because it's still early training camp. But I was. Oh my god, bro! I was looking at it. I'm still looking at it. Let's look at some of these top ones and see if we like what would you do. The first one that I see on the
Yeah.
popular is Puka Nakua. His over under 8 receiving touchdowns.
It's really hard with, that number, and the only reason why I say that is because Puka historically gets about that exact number every year for receiving touchdowns. His yards are just Puka is the over the middle the guy. He's the over the middle guy that Cooper Cup was, but his volume is so much higher. So like if there's a game where Puka Nakua has 2 touchdowns in a game, you're looking at it like, how
He
did he
had 10
get
last
them?
year for
So he
reference.
had 10. He had
Yeah.
10. So is that
He
eight and
went
a half right
6.
now?
It's at 8. He went
Oh, 8.
6, 3, and 10.
Mm,
Last year, remember in 24, he didn't play the full year.
mm.
So over 8.
Man,
And I don't. No, it's just regular season. I was gonna say I don't know if it counts playoffs, but in
it should
total,
just be
Puka had
season
12. Yeah,
long.
it should be
Yeah.
season, but yeah, receiving touchdowns. Over, would you take it? You putting the money
Over
on it?
8?
8
I
or
have
under?
to. I have to take the over with that offense, man.
Yeah, but if Matt Stafford goes down, are you still as comfortable with that
Yeah, because I
because of
think
his volume?
Ty Simpson will
Boy,
force
stop.
feed him.
I
I
don't
think
know
he'll
if they
force
put him
feed him.
in. They might put Stetson Bennett.
Stasquavius Bennett?
Yeah. Yeah, bro. And which he would do that until he gets knocked out. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Next. And this one is one, you know what I'm saying? We'll start on Ashton Genty, 974 and a half rushing yards.
974?
Yeah. His second year, they did go out and get Linderbaum. You think I think they could. I think he could run for 1,000 yards, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, just not what is it, 17 games. He
That should be extremely obtainable. Obviously, injury might change that ability to get that number, but historically speaking, Ashton Genty, I'm not trying to jinx him, knock on particle board wood right here. He doesn't really have a lot of nagging injuries that he deals with because he's so compact, man. He's like 5'8". He's like 5'8", 210 of just pure fucking shit your pants muscle. Now, I would rather in this situation, I'm probably going to take it, but I would rather take his season total scrimmage yards at like 1,200.
hold on, bro. I'm doing some math real quick.
And we'll put him at about 70 yards a game if you played all 17 games around
No,
there.
you're 100% right, but I'm saying, hold on. Buy me some time, my guy. No, I'm joking. If he averages 57 and a half rushing yards a game, he gets what he needs.
Yeah.
So I expect him to have a couple of big games. I think
I
he
think
gets it. I
70
think
is
that's
around the 1,000 yard mark, like
yeah.
almost 1,100 yard mark.
Well, depends. No, 60. 60, and
Oh,
he plays every game. He's at 1,020 yards. So just under. Um, Dak Prescott, 4,024 and a half yards.
take the over. Take the over.
That
There's
one's
no
hard for
way
me, bro.
on God's green earth
Is
that
he gonna
he
stay
does not.
healthy?
Who,
The full
Dakota?
season. Yes, the full
Absolutely.
season.
Yes, I believe in Dakota. Okay. There is
You know
you got to
what? Me
think.
too.
That's
Me
what I'm talking about.
too.
That's
I
what I'm talking. They're
believe in
gonna
him. Let's
open it up. Okay, him and the NFL young boy and Sedarius Lamb. It's time. It's time
okay,
to let
okay.
them boys fly.
Then what about this one? 3,500, basically 3,600 yards. Caleb Williams.
He threw for like just a shade under 4K last year. I think he
He
was at
should
like
hit it.
he should. That offense does look a little different now, just because
With
they
no
did
DJ
lose
Moore.
DJ Moore.
Uh,
But DJ Moore was almost like an afterthought. You
yeah.
know, there was
Cole
weird
Kmet was that
games.
guy, my dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was weird games where like no receiver even sniffed like 80 yards. It was strange. So I think they have an opportunity to actually use, Colson Leveland a lot. I think he can get that. I think he can
Yeah,
because
I
Luther
agree.
Burden is supposed to be the deep ball guy.
Well, and if he starts to struggle, I can see Chicago going out and getting another wide receiver to replace, maybe a veteran or maybe someone like that. And we could, I mean, we could still see Stephon Freaky Diggs sign with the Bears for all we know to give them that replacement if they needed it. I don't think they do,
Yeah,
but yeah. But next player up, Bijan Robinson, 1,150.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What are we talking
yeah,
about here?
yeah. I'm the
Are
only
you
thing
talking
keeping
about
Bijan. The
Will
only thing keeping
Smith's
the
genie?
only thing keeping B. No, you know what? Ain't shit keeping Bijan from this. Kevin Stefanski will get Bijan Robinson this. The only way you're not getting it is if he deals with injuries.
The one thing that I will say, okay, I'm gonna preface this.
He's gonna miss 6 games. Don't take it. Sorry.
No, he's more of a zone running scheme versus Zach Robinson was having him run the ball out of the pistol. So it's more like, hey, let's get him to the corners, let's get him to the edge, and have Bijan make moves. Versus like Stefanski was running traps and things of that nature whenever he had
Mm,
Nick Chubb.
It was a they yes and no. I think he was very. I think he used him more versatile, but I think it was more because of Chubb's running style. Once Chubb was hurt, and once
Mhm.
they went through a couple of other running backs and his running scheme still worked, they were a little bit different, and they would go to running out of the pistol and running more stretch plays and things to get
Yeah,
Bijan out in space. So I think Stefanski can do it. Hell, he has to because that's all of his offense. People are going
yeah.
to be high on Drake London this year, and again, y'all just ain't never paid attention
I
to a
don't
Kevin
see it.
Stefanski offense.
Yeah, I won't see it.
Yeah.
No matter who's throwing the ball, I don't see it.
JSN's number is 1325. You touching it?
With health, I think he gets it. I mean, Cooper Cup is the perfect balance
I
of
think this
yeah,
number is I think this number is too highly surrounded by Sam Darnold playing the full season, so I wouldn't touch it.
yeah,
Because
uh,
I think if Sam plays, Milrow is there. I don't think
yeah.
Milrow's getting JSN 1325.
Well, I also that number is just where it needs to be. These asshole Vegas odds makers. It's right where it needs to be because it's really tough to sit there and predict that a guy's going to get 1,300 yards playing receiver. It's really hard to predict that. And the reason that I say that is because depending on what the schedule looks like, which they probably looked at that a lot in more detail than what I would look at it, we're probably looking at the secondary that he's going to be playing against. And with that comes, does he have an opportunity to have, at 1350, that's putting him on average of about, I don't know, 85 to 90 yards a game in a 17 game season? Maybe six catches, six to like nine catches, probably in that range. There's going to be a game where he does not get that.
Facts.
And then there might be a game where he pops the hell off and has 180 yards receiving. So sorry.
All right.
It's really hard to tell.
I'll give you a couple more, and then I want to look at a couple different things before we keep it pushing to the
Okay.
brief NBA and stuff. But
Okay.
passing yards that I thought were cool to look at, and I'll just give you the four and just tell me over under.
Okay.
And I'll Matt Stafford's is at 3,925 and a half. I want to say yes, but again, bro, like
Yeah.
injuries.
Yeah.
Because I could see them being such a good team, especially if Aaron Donald comes back. Then maybe we do see Ty Simpson a little bit this year. Maybe we do.
Yeah, I
You know what I'm
think their
saying? And I think,
defense will hold up. Yeah.
yeah, and the weapons around him, like, I mean, Ty
You
Simpson
have
can't. He's
too
Ty Simpson
much.
is he's good. People can look at the training camp, and like we said earlier, it's definitely overreaction. People can look at how he looks. All quarterbacks that are not generational do not go into the first day and just dominate. Think about how you were when you start your new job. That first day while you're getting trained, you're not out there throwing touchdowns behind your
Yeah.
back. You're
Mhm.
learning. That's what Ty
Mhm.
Simpson is doing, bro. But Drake Mays is at 3,800. I'm taking that shit.
Yeah, you
I don't
have
know how
to.
good they're gonna be. I'm not saying they're gonna win
Yeah.
14 games, but 3,800 yards from a young, well, yeah, from a young runner up in the MVP race. Give me Drake May for 3,800 yards.
Yeah, because I think that puts him. I know we're like getting hella statistician on it. That puts him at about 225 a game if he plays every game.
And my guy is gonna have a couple of games because he's that good.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's is 3,600, and I'm taking that as well.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I think every season that he's played, even though he's got his rushing upside, man, he's gonna get that, man, because they're gonna be in tough games. They're in tough games every year to where, like, he's
He's
gonna
going
have to
to.
throw for, like, 300
You know, is that
because the
defense
run
is
game isn't
bad.
working.
No,
Yeah.
not because the run game isn't working. It's just because their defense is their turn. We're watching the Buffalo Bills turn into Cincinnati. They just did it at a
Yeah.
lot slower pace, but we're
Mhm.
watching them go from a decently balanced team that no one wanted to give the Bengals credit for when they made that Super Bowl run, but they were like fifth in defense.
Yep.
Brother, it was a balanced team that went all offense, and now we're watching the Buffalo Bills slowly do it. That's
Yep.
I think Josh Allen does hit that though, but I'm just saying the Bills from that aspect. And then
Yeah.
last one, Joe Burrow, 3,924 and a half. Again, love Joe Burrow. I don't know if he plays 17 games. If he
Yeah.
does, if he played
Yes.
16, I might take those numbers.
Yeah.
But
With, like,
I
about 35,
yep.
38 touchdowns.
And the reason that I avoid him because if you take one of these picks on Prize Picks, which you should definitely take some picks, when you take it, if your player misses the whole season, it doesn't they just remove them from the lineup. If they're
Yeah.
in and out of the lineup, they're still in there. So
Yeah.
I think if you pick Joe Burrow, you're gonna miss out. But there's a couple other ones, bro, like sacks that I would take
Uh-huh.
all day, every day, because that's the first thing I go to whenever I look at the seasons.
Uh-huh.
Max Crosby's is at 10 and a quarter. I don't know because of the injury going in. He
Mhm.
should. I would probably
Yeah.
take it. I wouldn't take Miles Garrett's because his is at 15 and three quarters.
That's too high. That's too
Yeah,
high to take.
for him there, he's not going to be needed to
Do
backpack
that.
them. He'll be able to
Yeah.
take days off.
I
Aiden
think you get
Hutchinson's
12. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think he'll get 15. I just don't know if he'll get 16, 17. But Aiden
Yeah.
Hutchinson, on the other hand, his number's at 13 and a quarter. And I think Aiden Hutchinson, if he stays healthy, can easily get 14 sacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a
Those
no, there's a couple
those are
stealing
tough.
ones, my guy.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah?
TJ's is 10 in three quarters, like I'm taking it. I think
Yeah.
Nick Herbig's number is low as hell too. But
Mhm.
again, his
Well,
will be low.
now, I don't know if you it's now legal to bet, money
On the
lines,
lines.
and
I know.
yeah, and for
I ain't
me,
got into that yet.
I'm kinda you boys kinda I think I could do that a lot better than I could do over, like, player numbers. I
I
think I could
think
do that a
I
lot
may I
better
may
than player
dabble in
numbers.
them. I may dabble into the lines a little, but
Or
again,
the
I'll
spread,
probably do
yeah,
low.
those are
Yeah, I feel like in the NFL I have a better chance, but again, I think every dope that's lost a shit ton of money on gambling has thought like, "Oh man, I can do it,"
I
and then
got that.
I got it. I got it.
Everybody's Adam Sandler and Uncut Gems.
Yeah, absolutely. But all right, bro. So, well, real quick before we do go, we do have which second year quarterback do you think makes the biggest leap? Just quickly, for me, I think that it's going to be Tyler Shuck because the
Uh-huh.
Saints. You just paid Olave, you gave him Jordan Tyson. I think that's enough for him to take a big leap. I know everyone's expecting Jackson Dart to. I think once Jackson Dart isn't running around making plays and has to play the quarterback position, he could fall. He could slide just a bit, throw
Yeah,
some
yeah,
untimely interceptions. Cam Ward may as well, but I just don't know if like I thought Cam Ward played good down the stretch last year. So I don't
yeah,
know if that gap is going to be that tremendous. So
yeah,
the biggest leap to me is going to be Tyler Shuck.
yeah. I yeah, and to me, Cam Ward, like, come on, bro. Like, what did you expect him to do? He the Everybody's aware of that, and they've already seen the flashes of the plays that he can make. Because to be honest with you, Will Levis wasn't it. Will Levis just had a big arm, so like now that Cam Ward has had a full year under his belt, he's understanding things more. He's got a better OC. The coach is defensive minded, which is a perfect marriage that you want. You want more of a defensive minded coach to stop the ball, and then you want a great OC to put up the points. He's not really closing the gap. He's just settling in, is how I see it. So I'm in agreement with you as far as Shuck. I think
I
Jackson Dart has no
truthfully,
excuse because he has too much talent on that team.
with Cam Ward, my one like Dayball should be able to help him, but I don't think they needed the defensive minded guy. I thought they could have gotten an offensive minded guy because it is a little bit easier to find defensive coordinators than it is OCs that are actually good.
Mhm.
But I do think that for him, sometimes you have defensive minded coaches that don't want to take those risks
On
that your
offense,
quarterback
yeah.
needs to continue to grow and continue to make those plays to make your team better because you're a young player and they want you to be like year 5, year 6 sometimes before you earn their trust. And it's like, no, bro, to earn your trust, I need you to cut me loose now. But
Yeah.
and then for me, last NFL, well, not for me, the AFC and NFC dark horse picks. For me, NFC, I said it last week, Dallas. That's my dark horse pick. AFC, honestly,
The Miami Dolphins are
Baltimore.
the Yeah, but is it really just for argument's sake, is it really a dark horse if they just had a off year?
Yes, because you're
Okay.
changing head coaches. You lost your center. You've lost some players. You have the most some of the most pressure from your MVP quarterback, where people say that he doesn't have it. Me as a Steelers fan, I watched Lamar have a horrible game, two games against the Steelers last year. Sorry, not just one, but two. And I truthfully think that nobody believes in him. I think everyone says it like, "Oh, I expect Buffalo to be there." Baltimore, we'll see. I think from the national media, is it a dark horse pick? No. But I mean, the only other dark horse team that I could pick in the AFC, people would be like, it's not a dark horse pick, but it would be Kansas City
Yeah.
because I don't think people. I think diehards that have the conversation are saying that KC and Baltimore are both done. I don't think the national media is, but that's just because they're like, you can't count them out. Not while that guy
Yeah.
is still playing there.
My dark horse pick for the AFC is the Cincinnati Bengals because everybody is aware everybody is aware that every single year I think they finally let the ship sail and been like, well, it's Cincinnati. Like what, you know, Joe Burrow's gonna get hurt. The defense is gonna be shit. I
Everything that
think
I've been saying the last 2 weeks.
so. I think that we're writing them off in the sense of like, no, they can't because you got to think if Joe Burrow's healthy for the entire
If
year, hold on, if he plays the full year, they're in the second round of the
if
playoffs. Every year that he plays a full year, they're in the second round of the playoffs. So I think they're writing them off again because they really don't know about the defense, especially after last year. My
Mm-mm.
God.
I think the defense
So
is going to be. I think anything that you roll out defensively with Dexter Lawrence is going to be better than what you had because Dexter Lawrence can make teams one dimensional, which will help your secondary no matter how bad they are because they know they're throwing the ball. Now you know not to get beat and don't look at all the play action stuff. You know they're throwing the ball, right?
yeah,
I just don't believe in their offensive line.
yeah.
That's why I'm like Joe Burrow's. If their offensive line goes into like if they're able to fix their offensive line, and I don't even think Cincinnati needs a top 5 offensive line. I think Cincy could get by with maybe
Top
a
$15.
a 17th offensive line get Cincinnati to the playoffs. But I don't think they're that good, bro. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they have made those jumps, and I think that you're right. If the offensive line can keep Joe Burrow up,
Yeah.
I they may run away with the AFC North.
I
But
think my dark horse
if
from the NFC is I agree with you. I think it's Dallas. I think everybody's to that point where it's like they had no excuse last year, so they're going to disappoint me again. I'm getting I'm gonna go crazy on this, right? I'm
uh-oh.
saying that
Uh-oh.
Dallas has a real chance in the second round if they make some noise to make it to their first NFC championship game in 30 years.
And just like that, we're switching topics. Which NBA star is under the most pressure? Uh, I was thinking this up as you joined a little bit earlier, but
Uh-huh.
I think for me, again, not everybody has to share my opinion, and I don't really give a damn. Shea Gildress Alexander. Because are you risking being Jokic? Are
Mm,
you risking winning a couple of MVPs and winning a championship to never get back to then stack on top of it? Or even if you don't want to call him a Jokic, you could call him a Giannis because that's the same thing
mhm.
Giannis did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, are you risking doing that, or are you going to elevate and go down with the Kobe's and the LeBrons and the those names by winning multiple? I think he's under the most pressure for that reason. You could say Wimby because he got there and everybody's saying that he's going to be the next big dog in town, but I think I they got exposed in the finals, right? I think
Yeah.
Wimby has a ton of pressure. I don't think he has as much pressure as SGA does because SGA's got there, won, and now it's a for him anyways.
Mhm.
Is that it? Were you just a blip on the radar? Was the Oklahoma City Thunder just a blip in the radar? Or are you going to be around? That's the difference between the Kobe's, the Bronze, the Jordans, the Shaqs, the Duncans,
Mm.
those dudes. They're around for a while. That's what makes them the greatest of all time. Are you that? Or are you just a
Mhm.
blip in the radar? Are you the, are you like, no, I'm trying to think of a good, are you the 2008 Boston Celtics?
Are you
That team,
Tracy
Doc
McGrady?
Rivers, kind of like are that those things become a not even Tracy because Tracy didn't win, but like
Yeah.
are you are you that like are you the Doc Rivers of it? That's what's happening is teams are winning and then they're just like, oh, I won that 2008 championship, and it's just like, yeah, that was it. What else are you?
Yeah.
So for
Mhm.
me, I think SGA could run into turning into the ball player version, just like I think Giannis had up to this point, and so has Jokic, has turned into the everything is pointing back to what you did the season you won. You've been able to add
So
fluff, but that's it. So
so it's like Hakeem, right? Hakeem only won when Jordan wasn't there.
Hakeem won two, but I do think that it's not
Mhm.
that 3 years, maybe
Yeah.
four.
I
That's
give him
not that
3,
long of
4.
a. That's
Yeah.
not that like when you start thinking about it. That's not that long of a run, bro. Like
Mm.
that's a blip.
Mhm.
So like, I'm looking for can you become the next level? Yes, everyone will look at it and say, well, yeah, but he won. And so why don't you think that Wimby does? Because he won is the reason that I think he has more pressure than Wimby.
Yeah.
Because you won. Because now it's a hey, you've shown that you're better than the people that are in the league now, right? Now are you gonna shrink that gap from the players that have already hung it up? You know what I mean? Like, yes, your jersey is going to be hung in the rafters in OKC. That's because it's a new franchise. If you were the Lakers, nah, you would get it hung up if you were the Lakers. But are you going to be one of those players if you going forward, are you going to be one of those players that are talked about in 20 years
Yeah,
in,
because
in basketball conversations?
he's been a part of the organization for 6 years. Whenever his number passes the amount of years that Russ and KD were here, which is at 9, I think for both of them, and he's locked in for 9 years with the franchise. He will be there until 2030, I believe,
Yeah,
is what his contract is at. Are you going to be a Hall of Famer? Or are you going to have more success than them? I think that's where the
yeah,
pressure lies in there. And his trajectory happened so quick. I mean, you go essentially 3 years in a row of having one of the best records of the league. But this season's going to look a lot different because you lost that group that you developed with. You lost Joe, you lost Dort, you lost Wiggins. You're trying to add more size into the interior of the defense by drafting Ade Mara. Is that his name? I think that's his name. And you have Sorber. You still got Jay Will. There's a lot of things that they have added to the team, and they've basically stacked like 95 second round picks. So he's under the most pressure because everything has been about making sure that the team doesn't miss a beat because they haven't as far as their success during the regular season. Um, they got better after they lost to the Mavs, but at the same time, like I'm looking at what happened last year whenever they were in the conference finals against the Spurs, and I'm looking at it like, yes, the injury bug bit them, but how did he play in those moments? He steps up in games, but even his when they played, they shouldn't have made it to a game 7 against the Pacers, and I think that's my point because he has his peaks and his valleys. His valleys are 20 points, his peaks are 35 to 40. But in those 20-point games, another guy steps up and they might get the win, which keeps them afloat. But then he'll have his peak where he has 36 and they lose. So it's going to be very telling. I think he's under, he's right there with the most pressure. I also, I think Anthony Edwards is kind of in that same boat. I don't think the Knicks have a lot of pressure on them just because it was so unexpected because we were used to the Knicks getting in the second round and choking. So now that they put it all together, I think they're in a position now. Well, at least Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's like, I'm the king of the world. Like, I'm on top of everything. I have no pressure because I've been that player. We just finally put it all together to win the ship. As far as Wimby, Wimby's 23 years old, bro. I don't think he's under any pressure. Like, the fact that they made it as far as they did, great. Now, you're now setting expectations for that franchise because you've tasted that success and you've gotten to the finals, but he's not under a lot of pressure. It's just like, hey, you keep doing you, and we will get to this spot probably year in and year out. So no, I 100% agree with you.
Also, most of the people that call Wimby overrated are Thunder fans, and it's crazy to me because they'll say stuff like, "Yeah, Wimby's gonna get there and not win another one, and it's gonna show how overrated he is." And then it's like, "Oh, just like Russ." Anyways,
And see.
Isaiah, what do you think is the biggest fight the UFC needs to make happen before the end of the year?
um, before the end of the year, I think Tom Aspinall needs to fight somebody.
He's supposed to fight Cyril. Cyril
Is that
gone.
going to happen before the end of the year? Have they put that on the books yet?
I don't think it's on the books just yet, but again, it's just August.
Yeah,
We should
because
start hearing more November, December timelines before too
yeah,
long.
because to me right now, if he doesn't have something on the books by about October or November, I'm done with him. I'm done with Aspinall. I don't. I'm tired. This man, he fights once every 16 months, even whenever he was healthy before the eye poke. So if that fight isn't made, I honestly think that the biggest fight that they need to put together is, I think, Patty and Gaethje run it back.
I like it.
I
I
think I'm looking at the card in about November, December. Get them in a new camp. Patty just came off of a good win against Benoit Saint Denis.
nah, bro. Don't do it.
Uh,
Don't do it.
uh,
Don't do it.
what?
You know who you got to do,
Oh,
bro. You have to do. Honestly, Gaethje's not fighting before the end of the year. He's
no,
not.
I don't. I
He's.
don't think
I think
so.
he's already said it. Give me Patty and Ilya. Ilya's probably
Well,
not going to be able
yeah,
to, but if he is, please give me that fight. Give me that fight in
yeah.
December, and I'd be fine. Give me that
I
fight,
could.
please.
That would be the one that would really determine a lot of stuff.
But also, give me Marab and Porter.
Yeah, that one needs to happen. I think they're gonna make Sean fight Piotr Jan, and that's what's gonna piss me off because
Yeah, probably. It makes sense
Sean.
though. It makes
Yeah,
sense though because no, it doesn't because Marab was dominant. You got to give him his
yeah.
rematch, bro. Like
I think you
you've
got to
done
give him
that
his
for a lot.
rematch,
Yeah,
but I think they're gonna look at the fact that Sean beat Piotr Jan, and so they're gonna be like, "Well, it's only right that we give him another title shot." And then I think inevitably, because Piotr Jan's a different fighter now than he was whenever he fought Sean, I think he wins, and then I think they'll set up Marab and Piotr in like this time next year, Probably
I don't
something
know.
like
I
that.
don't. So I think that Sean is, and this is me changing. I think Sean is a bad matchup for Piotr Jan. Not. I don't think
Just the
Sean can.
height.
Yeah, I don't think he can't be beat. I just think that because of how hard Sean hits in his reach, he does pose a lot of issues with Piotr Jan, who likes to make you come in by just throwing up his high shell, make
Yeah.
you get into range, and then he starts getting his combos off, or he
Yep.
walks into your range while he's doing that. It's hard to walk into Sean's range and not pay the price when you're just
Yeah.
walking in like that. So I
Yeah.
think he struggles because sometimes he does get caught with his head on the center line, and if you
Mhm.
keep your head on the center line, Sean will make you pay. But I do think that he understands a little bit more than he did back then. I think he'll
Mhm.
be able to close the distance. And again, he had a lot of success against Sean, just like like he did.
Mm.
It would be a 5 rounder this time, which would change a little bit. How do they both look going the full 5 round? Does Sean gas? I think Piotr Jan understands that Sean's body is another weakness. So instead of coming out and leg kicking like everybody else does, he's going to try to get in and get off those body shots,
Yep.
which would hurt him. But I do either one of those spots, Piotr Jan versus Sean, or Jan versus Marab. I need those on the books now.
Yes. I also think that in the light heavyweight division, we got to get some action going. Maybe for a number one contender spot because Ulberg is not coming back until probably this time next year. Um, you know, is Yuri gonna fight somebody? Are they gonna make something with him going against yeah, really anybody? Because right now that division is gonna be held up for the fact that Oldberg can't really defend his title because he tore his ACL. So let's get at least a number one contender fight to happen before the end of the year so that when Oldberg does come back, because when was that fight? That was in the spring, I feel like, or early in the year.
It was
We're
in the
looking
spring.
at in spring. So I'm looking at, you know, if he recovers well and his rehab goes good, he will probably fight in maybe in the spring of next year.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, like we got to get something sorted out in that division. Does Peloton drop back down and maybe fight for an interim, not against Yuri, but just something. What does his
I
career look like?
think. Oh, so maybe Poetan versus Hokit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that would be taking a step down for Alex Pereira, just because yeah,
Yeah.
he's hotter than fish grease right now. But if you're looking at pure skill level, I think Hokit's gonna rush in and try to wrestle him a lot. I think you got to do Hokit versus Magomed Ankalaev. I think that one makes more sense. He just got a dub a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago, so
Hey,
why not do why not do
can
something in that regard?
can I do a plug for the NFL real quick,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
for YouTube TV?
Okay.
Hey, I didn't know you could link your fantasy to YouTube TV. I was
Oh
as
yeah.
we're doing this, I've been linking, or I've been looking because WWE, just obviously YouTube TV and WWE finally came to a deal, so you're able to watch SummerSlam on YouTube TV without having
Uh,
to illegally stream, or you know what I'm saying? Uh,
mhm.
because so they're finally cool. And I was setting that up, and then I seen that we can actually link Yahoo Fantasy Football to the YouTube TV as you're watching the Sunday Ticket, so you'll be able to. I'll be able to
Oh.
track my. That's shout out. Hey, Yahoo Fantasy Football app and YouTube TV. Y'all showing out. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
Um, I don't really know what other fights that I do want to see at the end of, you know what I'm
Jacoby
saying,
Smith needs
this.
to fight somebody.
Why?
I just want him to fight somebody because he got
Why?
robbed of coming back to his city and putting on for his city.
No, I know, but like, who do you get? I mean, just redo him and Kevin Holland. I think they should be
Yeah,
able to do it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, is and does I don't think Volk is gonna fight again until next year. They're clearly they haven't found anybody to fight him other than Diego Lopez. So
Hey,
I
you
would
can't keep
rather
doing that, bro. You can't keep doing that.
I would rather have Diego move up because I feel like if at least if he moves up, it gives him a new level of competition because if he fights Volk again, man, like Are we gonna get the same result? Since he's been training in Stillwater and really working on his wrestling a whole lot, I think inevitably his striking has gotten a lot better. I know that sounds crazy to say, but he looks more polished as a striker because people are trying to prepare for his wrestling, but I think it's made him a lot more dangerous on his feet.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Well, it's
not trying to speak out of turn, but
it's
I just think that's what's
it's not
helping
out
him
of
out.
turn. That's why everyone says the best base to have is wrestling. It's easier for you to get into MMA as a wrestler that can't really strike and then learn striking than it is to be a full
Mhm.
striker and then learn wrestling. The most that you're ever gonna do is what Sean does, which is just sprawl. Sean's not wrestling anybody. If you do
Yeah.
get him down, he's pretty much it's over with. It's just hard to get him down. It's
Mhm.
like Connor. Like it wasn't very easy. Like Habib made it look easy, but Habib made it look easy for damn near everybody. But it
Yeah.
really wasn't. Like Connor stuffed a lot of his early takedowns.
Yeah.
But
He
that's
just
the
never
that
stopped trying
yeah,
to take him down.
Habib dropped Connor, and there's no world that just no grappling that I'm picking Habib versus Connor in anything.
Yeah.
So, um, so it's not you're not speaking out of line. It's just it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of all the other like. I mean, is Amanda Nunez going to fight Harrison?
Yeah, well,
I,
she's
I
gotta stop taking the juice.
steroids. What else? So we have that.
I want Prates should be on the card here
Ooh,
he should be on the card here pretty soon.
he may be. He's a welterweight, ain't he? Pretty sure. Is he waiting for
Uh,
Islam versus?
I think so. I think him and
Hold on. Is he or am I? Or is he a featherweight,
I think he's a featherweight. He's just a
bro?
tall featherweight.
Hey, Jamie, can you look that up?
Jamie, pull that up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is
Yeah, he's a welterweight. That's what I thought.
okay. He's a welterweight.
He's a
So
welterweight, so he's. I mean, let me see.
I thought
He
he
just
was
beat Jack Della Maddalena in
yeah,
May, so he's not going to fight until basically the end of the year.
yeah,
He may wait until Islam versus uh
yeah,
in Gary. I
yeah.
almost slipped up and called him a bad name that Colby Covington. Hey, shouts out to American born Colby Covington, Colby Chaos Covington for going
Yeah.
in, you know what I'm saying? Armin Saryukian. Huh, no, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Stick to yeah, and what is Armin doing? He's spending all his time doing the RAF stuff.
Well, because nobody wants to fight him.
No, I thought he was ducking, bro. I thought
Who's he ducking? He's been waiting for a title match for a while. He's been calling like when Islam was the champ, he was
Mhm,
like, he got suspended because remember he was walking to the octagon. One of those fans
mhm,
grabbed him and he
mhm. Yeah.
wow, he got suspended for a little bit. But since then, bro, he's been running through people. Like he beat Du Bronx. They still ain't got
Yeah.
him a title shot. So like obviously he doesn't fight a lot, but he doesn't fight a lot because the guys in the top 5 don't want to fight him. They want to fight people in the bottom, like in the from
Yeah.
6 to 10, beat them, and then say, "Oh, well, Conor McGregor, you're taking everything I worked for, motherfucker. I'm gonna fight your fucking ass." That's what they're all doing.
Yeah.
None of them are like you're not seeing 2 versus 3, 3 versus 4 very often. You're not.
No.
You're seeing
Not in
two
those
versus
divisions.
ten. Not
Yeah.
in a
2
lot of
versus
divisions,
8.
bro. It's like yeah, 4 versus 12, and yeah, but they're not fighting each other. So that's what Armin's doing. Is he waiting for one of them to be like, "Hey, bro, I'll fight you." The last time one of y'all did was Oliveira, and Armin won. Now it was a very close and controversial decision, but
Yeah.
he got his hand raised.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that with
Yeah.
Sean. Very close
Mhm.
and controversial decision. You're now a champion. Very close and controversial decision, and Armin's still sitting at the house because he ain't got that Dana White privilege. Hey, Sean, I'm
Ooh.
becoming a fan of you. I will say you're a star. I love your content, brother. I'm not finna lie. But like, we're not finna sit here and act like Sean O'Malley does not get Dana White treatment. Like Connor, I like
Yeah.
Connor on his rise. He got, you know what I'm saying? Like Connor won the featherweight belt and never defended that mug and got a lightweight championship match.
Yep.
Never defended that motherfucker and
Meanwhile
immediately went up and fought for another one.
Meanwhile, poor Izzy. Izzy had to go through the gauntlet for like
Gauntlet.
2 years, and then he moved up to fight Jan, which was
Yeah.
Jan Blachowicz probably walked into that cage about 2:30.
If
Izzy probably walked in there at about 2:15.
let's quickly, and I'll just do this off my head. Pause. I'm trying to think of the people that went up. Obviously, I'm pretty sure. So BJ Penn won the welterweight belt before he won the lightweight belt, which is wild. He choked out Matt Hughes and won that, and then went down and won the lightweight. So his was kind of backwards. He didn't do it the
Uh-huh.
normal way. He did it kind of backwards. Randy Couture, I think, did the same thing. Yeah, Randy Couture was a heavyweight champion. Then he went down and beat Chuck
Light
Liddell and won the
heavy.
light heavyweight. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so Connor, he beat a lot of people, and then he went up and fought, and he won the featherweight belt. He didn't defend it at all. Izzy
Yeah.
won the middleweight belt. Obviously, GSP won the welterweight belt, defended it for years, and then came back
Mm.
and fought for the middleweight belt. Izzy won the belt. He won the interim belt. Then he starched Robert Whitaker. Then he starched uh, Paulo Costa, and then he fought
Yeah.
Jan. So he at least
Yeah.
defended it at least once.
Yeah.
Um, I, I mean, I'm trying. Who else?
Everybody else has been vacating it. They're not
Well, not
defending
even
it. They're
just that, but
vacating it.
yeah, but they're defending their belt. Even before, like Islam ran through the lightweight division and then went
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And then like bantamweight, we haven't seen very many bantamweight champions go up to fight featherweights. Like we don't.
No.
Volk went up and fought Islam. He beat Max. He beat the shit out of Max. Like he was
Yeah.
beating everybody at featherweight.
Yeah.
And then he went up and fought for the lightweight belt. So
Yeah.
yeah, Connor got that treatment. Sean got that treatment. Brock got that treatment.
Yeah.
Ronda for a little bit got that treatment. There's a lot of guys that get the Dana treatment, and I understand why, because you make him money.
Yep.
You make high sums of money, my guy.
Yeah.
Uh,
I will say though, out of all the fights that I think need to happen, man, uh, is Sean gonna defend it before the end of the year?
I think he wants to, my dog. I truthfully
Mhm.
think he wants to, but who do you put him in with?
I
That's
feel like
the
him and Kamzat kind of have to run it back.
well, it's either that or it's DDP, but the I'm Hamzat doesn't fight that often, bro. So like they're not
Yeah,
gonna make that by the end of the
DDP. I
year.
think DDP is
They could get him in.
ready.
I think if it's DDP, they could get him in there by December.
Yeah. No,
November,
no,
December. DDP runs in, and he didn't take a ton of damage from Kamaru. So I
no.
think he could bounce back and fight by November, December. It's just now August. He fought in July, so August, September, October, November, 4 months.
Yeah.
That's a 4 to 5 months. That's a nice turnaround for someone who's as active as DDP
Yeah. I think he has a real chance to do it. And
as well as Sean.
yeah, and uh, I mean, I could see a world of some reason they're like, I think Joe Pyfer and Sean Strickland looks like a good matchup, and they throw that out there before they give DDP or Kamzat uh, a chance. I can see it.
Nah, you know what you need to do to take your mind off of that? You need to listen to the Jake Paul episode on the pivot and just listen to him. And then I think I think the pivot does a good job of explaining Jake Paul to people if you
Uh-huh.
actually listen and understand what they're saying, which is
Mhm.
Jake Paul is basically doing what Jackass did, which is
Yeah.
I'm going to go out there and do some outlandish shit and I'm going to stand on it, and just because I stand on it, regardless if I'm going to be right or regardless if I'm going to be wrong, it's going to be entertaining. And so many people are so tricked into watching me that I'm going to
Mhm.
make a bunch of money off of y'all. And who wins in the end? So just because
Me. Yeah.
yeah, because he's got that name, he calls people out regardless. And people are like, there's no way, but you're talking about me. What did Easy E say in Straight Outta Compton? I mean, really, they spent their money on it. They can do whatever the hell they want with it, as long as they spending money on it.
Yeah,
So
it don't
that's
matter.
essentially that's what Jake Paul has mastered that craft. I don't think Dana would do that. I think there are times and there are people that get the Dana White special treatment, but I don't think Dana does a bad job of making fights. I think he does a really good job making fights. People hate the way he pays people, but again,
Yeah.
like going back to Jake does a good job of putting the blame on fighter pay.
Yeah.
Jake Paul does a good job of what politicians do.
Mhm.
They
I'm gonna
focus on what
incite
you're doing.
doubt.
No,
Yeah.
that I'm going to focus on what you're doing wrong. I am passing everything and all the narrative to you. That way, nobody cares about me. Nobody cares about what I'm doing, right? So what
Mhm.
he's doing is the UFC doesn't pay everyone that, right? Yeah. So when you look at the estimates of fighter paying on, yes, Jake, because you're making a bazillion dollars. You bring the average up, dummy. Isn't you,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Like people are so is like, oh, the UFC doesn't pay their fighters well. And it's like, based off of what? Based off of
Yeah.
what? Based off of what Jake Paul is making? No. But shit, was paying that. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like the reason Jake has that money, it's not because of fighter pay. Jake has that money because he knows how to brand himself. But he's
Yeah.
also so good at branding himself that he makes people think that the fighters aren't making money by comparing them to him or comparing them to boxers. When we
Yeah.
watch the entire sport of boxing fall apart because people were demanding way too much money and the best people weren't fighting the best. So the
Mhm.
like casual boxing fans stop watching. The diehards definitely still watch, but a diehard of anything is gonna watch. I'm a
Yeah.
WWE fan, bro. The product it could be horrible, which it is, and I'm still gonna pay attention to it.
Yeah. I, and especially too, like at the end of the day, any fighter, Dana pays them more as they get better. It's an incentive based contract. You sign a contract for an amount of fights, and then you agree on the terms of what you get paid for that fight as it is made. There's a difference. Like Jake Paul is cutting deals for a fight every time because it's his own promotion, which just merged with PFL, I believe. And I heard some of those clips and they were just absolutely asinine, but I know he's lying. I just think the general public has to realize
But
that he's lying.
people can't because a lot of people don't understand it as much, so they put their own like what they're dealing with in it, and they're like, oh yeah, we don't get paid what we feel like we should, we don't get paid, and blah blah blah. So he does a
Hmm.
good job of being that podcaster or that voice that makes the masses feel, but he's doing to like Jake Paul is, and this I don't want this to get political or anything like that. I don't want people, but Jake Paul is doing to a lot of fight fans the same thing that a large portion of the country feel like movements like BLM did, which is they used BLM to capitalize on it profitably. Jake Paul
Hmm.
does that with fights. Like that
Hmm.
whole Ponzi scheme that people talk about, that's what Jake Paul does. Is he just he eggs it on, right? And maybe there are a couple of guys that are upset at how they fight or how they're or not how they fight, but how they're paid. Like say Paulo Costa.
Yeah.
Paulo Costa could be upset at how he's paid. Paulo Costa has also missed weight. Paulo Costa, after getting starched by Izzy, hasn't been the same fighter. So there's so much stuff. It's like the employee that shows up late to work every day that's upset that they're not getting paid as much as the employee that shows up on time all the time. They're still going to be pissed off because they're not getting paid. Jake Paul does a good job of touching them and being like, yeah, you ain't getting paid this. And it's just like, no,
Yeah.
if you were as profitable as Connor, if you were, yeah, you would be that. Just like if you go to MVP, if you were Jake Paul, if
It's more.
like they're doing is saying we're going to give you a platform to fight. Can you turn yourself into a star?
Mhm.
No, you're not. You know why? Because nobody looks at MVP as anything else than Jake Paul. That's all it
Yeah.
is. Can you
Yeah.
train? Can you turn it into something else? Yes, you could. I'm not saying there would never be, but are you going to be able to launch people into superstardom like the UFC? It's like saying the
Yeah.
UFL is going to be compete with the NFL. No, it's a good dream,
No.
just like the
Yeah.
XFL did. Like, no, you're not competing with them. You know
He does
why?
a he does a really good job of instigating
That's all it is, bro.
reactions,
That's all it is.
which is part of his shtick. I mean,
Genius. The kid is
the
a
guy
genius, but
well, he's basically got I mean, the guy that he co-created, MVP with was sitting there on that podcast and being like, "Yeah, Jake said that punch from
Anthony
Joshua
Joshua.
didn't hurt. It didn't hurt." I was like, We know that shit. He broke his jaw.
Well, he's again the way that they explain stuff, bro, is like when he got punched, did it hurt? Probably not. You probably knocked the nerve endings out your shit, and then you
Yeah.
didn't feel it until you were having surgery. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
and then
hurt.
adrenaline alone, just being in there, it might not
It
feel the
hurt.
same.
It
My
hurt.
guy, it
But
hurt.
people don't think, people really will buy into it and be like, yeah, man, maybe he hit him and it just really didn't. Maybe getting a, you're like, no, it hurts.
Yeah.
Like, it hurts. It's going to hurt regardless. How do you deal with it? That's completely different, but it's going to hurt. If you don't deal with pain well, getting your jaw broke by Anthony Joshua is horrible. You see some people walk around with 1,000 tattoos and they're like, none of this shit hurt. And it's like,
It
really, bro? You got a
you
tattoo on your fucking eyeballs. You
Bro,
don't, none
there's
of these
pain
hurt.
receptors. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's pain
It
receptors,
hurt.
okay?
Yeah, bro. Your shit might not work, but they're definitely there. Jake Paul
Yeah.
is that.
Yeah, and it's what he has to do to kinda I think he does it to, like, hype himself up to believe
Well,
some of the things that he says.
if you listen to the full interview, he talks about what, like, if you Jake talks about what started him and Logan, right? Like, they were just normal kids in the Midwest and
Mhm,
they were just chilling and their dad would leave them outside and they started making vines and YouTube videos to make themselves laugh and they turned into superstars. And I will always commend them for that because they launched platforms on social, like they were some of the biggest creators that we had seen. Now there's a lot of them, but
mhm.
they were, right? He took that of the approach of it, like, win the internet and fuck what the historians say,
Yeah,
because the internet is what's going to make me money, not this. So
yeah,
what Jake is doing is Jake is living through the lens of social media. So when you watch it from the lens of boxing or you watch it through the lens of him being a promoter, you see it as like, who is this arrogant little kid? But if you see it through the lens of he's a normal social media kid that's running around and just starting shit, and his entire stream is with him following him. That's
yep.
how Jake creates such a platform, is because even if he gets knocked out, even if he says I can go be a good slot receiver in the NFL, he's going to have eyes on it because he's saying it. There's no world, he even said, I'm not good enough to be an outside receiver, but you're telling me I can't be like Wes Welker? Huh? Him doing that is him saying, like, a wide receiver that played in the game 10 years ago.
Yeah,
And
it's
what he would
disrespecting
but
them.
but what he would do is he would say, "Well, then why don't y'all get Wes Welker out here and let's see who's faster?" And people will be like, "Yeah, yeah, I think Wes." And it's like, "No, Wes
45-year-old Wes Welker?
exactly. Exactly." But what did he do with Tyson? He had people believing like Tyson can turn the clock back one more time for this YouTuber. No, he can't. And that's how he gets people, because he's,
Mhm.
oh man, he's being disrespectful to Wes Welker. Like, how you do? And then it's like, oh yeah, yeah. And people start to forget that Wes was that 10 years ago. They think that 10 years isn't that long of a time, and that Wes couldn't have not like gotten that much slower. And when Jake Paul, who is juicing still and is still working out actively at a high level, outruns Wes Welker, they're gonna be like, oh,
He's
oh,
amazing.
oh.
He's the
And it's like,
greatest
no,
thing ever.
he did it then. Like, now go make him race Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
Like, that's what Jake does a great job of being disrespectful to our legends and reaping the rewards from the outrage from that disrespect.
Mhm.
He'll say some shit like I'm faster than Michael Vick, and people see it as disrespect, and people they talk now they want to see it. Michael, come out and show this motherfucker that he's not faster than you. Come on, Mike. And then Mike is like, bro, I've been chilling for like 15
Yeah.
years. And then he's
I'm
like,
the
and
NFL analyst.
Jake reaches out to him and goes, hey, you finna make $165 million off of this. And Mike is like,
Mm,
shit, let's run. Then he
yeah,
gets out. That's what happens. It's not,
yeah.
I don't ever think there's been like contracts signed of people saying that I'm going to lose. I just think Jake is a marketing genius.
Mhm.
That's all he is. He is
I
he's a generational marketer. But my fault, I went on a tangent because
Oh, no,
I
you
still
good.
I like Logan, but I don't like Jake. I'm not gonna lie to you. But wrapping her up, Isaiah, we have been getting a lot of support. Obviously, we do want more. We want people to share it with your friends, share it with your homies, tell
Show
everybody.
her body.
You know what I'm saying? Comment, like, do whatever you want to. But Isaiah, what do you want to leave the viewers and the listeners with this week?
I mean, y'all see the team that I'm repping. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy. I'm just praying that we win 5 games this year. I'm really excited. We're getting closer and closer. First preseason game is Thursday.
I
It
I
will,
I'm a cry.
yeah, it will show us absolutely nothing indicative with the NFL season, but
Don't care.
it's our first little sprinkle of some football, so we need it. I'm looking forward to it. We've done nothing but grow in numbers in this podcast, and we've grown in our ability to talk about things. So people stick with us. I mean, we're just doing what we do, and I love doing it. So that's all I got. And let's see what else. And shout out to everybody that's working out in this heat. I know I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. The AC went out in my car. I'm only getting a little taste of what y'all go through every day, but
We gonna make it.
more power to you. Cause Friday was a different breed that day. So
Man,
shout out to
yeah.
all y'all.
I feel that. Hey, yeah. Thank y'all for paying attention. Steelers Nation, I want y'all to understand something. Like, we're gonna learn a lot on Monday. We're gonna learn a lot in training camp when they put the pads on. I'm very hopeful. Like I said, I don't want you to be crazy optimistic when it comes to people like Drew Aller because there's still a lot for him to learn. But what I will say is like don't watch it and think that everything is going to mean everything because it's not. There's still a world where the Steelers suck. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, have fun, enjoy it, have fun, talk to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope it's great. I hope the whole NFL season is great. I'm gonna lose a lot of money on Prize Picks. I'm gonna win a lot of money on Prize Picks. I'm gonna whoop a lot of ass in fantasy, and I'm gonna be excited while I'm doing it. And if you a Cincinnati, a Baltimore Ravens, or a Cleveland Browns fan,